So after spending a good amount of time playing Monster Hunter Wilds this weekend, I think I have a pretty good understanding as to how Capcom wants us to play the game. And it's interesting to say the least. So first of all, I think Capcom want us to play this like a single player game. And I don't mean the online single player lobby that you can select from the start menu. I'm talking about the story. It does everything it can to stop other players, your friends, from joining you. Now, while they can join you, and I will show you how to do that, it just seems very restrictive, and I think that they could have done a better job here. The game itself just feels very on rails. In moments where you're walking and talking, you see something out of the corner of your eye and you want to veer off and collect it. It does its best to make sure that you stay the path. Once that path has been completed, it opens up a little bit more and you can start to invite your friends. But before that, you just can't roam around together. It's just weird. Now, the first thing Capcom want you to do if you want to play with your friends in Monster Hunter Wilds is join a link party. I have an entire video on this. It's not too complicated, but it's probably worth a look if you're not sure how to do that yet. Before we even talk about link parties though, we need to talk about lobbies. Do lobbies matter? I don't think that they do. Now, if you already have friends online, then you can do a hunter friend search. That's assuming that you've added them as a friend. You can also do the same with squads if you're in a squad. Once you've joined the lobby, you would think that you would be able to see one another, especially if you're in the same location, but that doesn't seem to be the case. The real advantage is that you can see other lobby member quests, meaning that you can coordinate with your friends to determine which hunt you want to go on. If you're in a separate lobby, you're going to see different lobby member quests, so there's that. To really be able to see one another, you need to either go to base camp, and like I said, it doesn't always work, or create an environment link. An environment link will allow you to explore the same region together and to create quests. If you invite someone to an environment link, it will automatically take them to the base camp of that region, and there you can finally see one another. Now, if environment links aren't working for you yet, then I highly suggest you complete the Village of the Whispering Winds quest line. After that, the game opens up a little bit more, and that seems to fix that problem. Now, after that, if an environment link isn't made available to you, there's a very good chance it's because you or a friend of yours is on some kind of story mission. The best way of being able to determine whether or not the game is open versus, I guess, being closed is whether or not the world map is available to you. When you open up your local map screen, you'll see that there is a button in the bottom that says World Map. If that isn't there, then your game is effectively closed and it prevents you from being able to travel. Despite the fact that the world map is available to you, doesn't always mean that you can go to every single region. Some of them will be grayed out. So the game is truly open when all of those regions are highlighted and you can travel anywhere. This is a good point to sort of stop and start discussing with your friends as to what you want to hunt and where you want to go, because it's very likely that the game is going to close off eventually. And then from there, you'll have to wait until you can get back together again. Right now, I'm going to show you an example of an environment link working well. Me and my wife are both in the forest region. I've sent her an environment link and she's joined me at base camp. From there, we can now see one another and can go out and explore the forest region together. This is not a story quest and we haven't targeted any monsters at this point, but eventually we will. Now, if you want to fight monsters together in an environment link, all it requires is one player to be able to find and target a monster and start fighting them. The other player who's roaming around will see an environment link activity, and the moment that quest start appears on the screen, you're both fighting the same monster. From there, it's just like any other quest. You fight, you defeat the monster. Once the monster's been defeated, you're still in the same environment link. You just can't travel out of the forest in this case. Now, if you did want to move to another region, you can do that, but you do need to disband your environment link first. Once you move to that location, you can recreate your environment link. Just be aware the entire time you are still a link member. From the moment you join this game, if you want to play with somebody else, make yourself link members. It will make everything easier. Now, as for questing, it works best when you're both up to the same monster. If your friend is ahead of you and you attempt to join their game, it will still send you an invite because you're link members. Problem is, you'll often get a message that says you cannot accept or join this quest, and it doesn't explain why. The reason is that you're just not up to that point yet. However, if you do happen to be up to the exact same point at the exact same time,
Let's go.
you will not be in the same cutscenes together. You're essentially both playing your own journey, and eventually you'll be able to face the same monster. This could happen at the exact same time, and when it does, it's going to send an invite to both of you, one to you and one to your friends. And from that point, it's kind of a scramble as to who joins who. Now, with effective communication, one of you will be quick enough to be able to accept the invite and depart on the quest, and when it works relatively well. You can either do a quick depart, or you can choose to prepare instead, which just means that you can do things like eat and be back at base camp before you start the fight. And once you've both defeated your monster, you'll return back to, I guess, what I would call your single player instance to carry on your journey. You could then potentially meet up and join environment links, assuming the game allows you to do that. And that's where we go back to whether or not the world map is available. The flip side to this is where you try and join someone's game and then you get hit in the process. This often results in the error that you can see on screen now. So then you're frantically running around trying to accept and join again and hopefully get through. One quick tip is that you could jump on your secret and ride away, but depending on what settings you have set up for your secret, it may just end up returning and running back into the monster. So is this really how Capcom want you to play the game? Well, it seems to be the case. So let's quickly recap what we've learned. The first thing you can do is join a lobby, but it doesn't really matter. What you want to do is just get into the game. From there, you immediately want to become link members. And then from there, you want to make a decision around what kind of experience you want to have. If you're both carrying on your single player like experience, then you can do so. And eventually you'll both get invites to fight monsters at relevant points in the story. Alternatively, if you want to explore a region together, then you can do that as well. You would do that via an environment link. But just be aware that you can only do that in the region that you're in. Otherwise, you can just both play as normal, and every now and then you can align on various lobby quests. You can both say, oh, we'll go and join this specific quest, and off you go on there. Otherwise, you also have access to Alma at any point, and you can just join quests in the traditional way that you would via a gathering hub in previous Monster Hunter games. So what's your opinion on this? Well, from the comments that I received on my previous videos, it's pretty clear that you're not happy. I have to give it to Capcom. They are trying to do something different, but I think it's just become a little too complicated, a little too convoluted. Really, Monster Hunter shines at its most basic form. You're in a gathering hub, you pick a monster, and you go and fight together. Everyone was really excited for a more open world-like experience, but it's still not at an MMO level. And I don't want Monster Hunter to be an MMO. I think it works best in an instance-like environment. You and 3 other buddies can get together and go and fight monsters, and you want to be able to do that as quickly as possible. I know that Capcom has a story they want to tell, but because I'm so frustrated, I often find that I'm just skipping the entire story anyway and just trying to get to a point where I can play with my wife.
You've got a weapon and you do nothing.
Anyway, that's it. I am enjoying Monster Hunter Wilds, but it is a bit of a frustrating experience. Regardless, I'm still going to continue to play. I will make more Monster Hunter videos in the future, but I have other games I'm playing as well, so look out for those videos too. And if you want more videos that get to the point, then this is the place to be. I know this video was a touch longer than normal, but we did have a lot to cover. I am really appreciative of my new subscribers and just as appreciative of all the people that have followed me since the very start. I'm still finding my feet on YouTube, and we're making a lot of progress. I'm really excited to see what's to come. So thank you once again. I look forward to meeting up with you in the comments as well. I'm trying to answer every single comment that comes through. I'm getting so many more than I've ever had previously, so it's a lot. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling on. Thank you again, and hopefully I'll see you out in the wilds. Bye, guys.